What's happening, guys? It's your girl Minna. Welcome back to my channel. You already know what it is. First and foremost, big up to everyone in the chat. I hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. It's one day till Friday, and pinch punch, first of the month. It's 1st of February, which means it's the best month in the year because it's my birthday month. Big up to everyone. It's match day here, and I'm joined by. I'm gonna let Tyrone introduce himself. I don't think there's much of an introduction needed.
Yeah, big up. First of all, big up to yourself. Obviously, doing regular content, doing the gaming content as well. Asking me to come on, so I appreciate it. Obviously, yeah, like the video, show Mina some love, and I think this has been a long time coming anyway. So when you hit me up, to be fair, I was like, yeah, no brainer. It'd be good to chop it up. Talk about the game tonight. Talk about Man United, and yeah, man. Trafford Tunnel down below, as you can see here. That's our Manchester United channel. And then Never a Foul is our generic football channel, which is like all things top six. So Trafford Tunnel if you're just a Man United fan and want that sort of stuff. But yeah, man, like the video, show me some love, and yeah, man, looking forward to it.
First and foremost, how you doing? It's been a tough season, but how you doing?
Yeah, man. Do you know what? It's probably a good thing I got no hair, Mina. You know what I mean? I'll be losing it more if I had some. But it's mad, man, because I haven't actually spoke to you like properly one-on-one about the season, but it has been majorly disappointing. The alarm bells for me rang from the first game anyway against Wolves, so nothing's really like materialized from that. It's been the same thing, hot and cold performances, winning some games, losing some games. Performances haven't been great, but yeah, as a person, I'm good. Yeah, it's nice to have a little bit of break from work, and as I was just saying to you backstage. And then now I'm looking forward to like the Premier League, the FA Cup, and just games coming thick and fast. I wasn't really a fan of that little January break. It was long without the football, but yeah, it's back now. Hopefully, Man United can get a run going, and we can turn this season around with a bit of hope. Yeah, what you been thinking? How are you as well?
Hope. Yeah, hope is the word, because we're 11 points off top four. I don't even know. It could be possible mathematically to get into the top four, but I think for now, in my opinion, I think top four is out of it. But one thing I will say is, you touched on it, Wolves game, beginning of the season, and I'm not looking forward to today's game, just because I feel like if it is a repeat of the last game, similar to that Wolves game, I think it will be a much more difficult one. Let's start with, I think the biggest hot topic is obviously Marcus Rashford is available for match day squad today. He could possibly be involved, whether that's starting, coming off the bench. Where do you stand on just the Marcus Rashford situation and his involvement in the team, even prior to this situation? Because he's not been doing well. We know that. It is no secret.
Yeah, he hasn't. And last year, him and Bruno kind of bailed us out in the attack. And for me, it was the defense that actually held it strong and got us top four and winning the Carabao Cup. If I'm honest, the Rashford situation, it's been handled quickly, which I do like. I think they've learned from the Sancho situation and maybe the other situations of Ronaldo, Maguire, other things. And they've said, look, we need to get this dealt with promptly and quick. And his agent's gone in and obviously spoke with him. But if you want my honest take, which I'm always going to be honest, is that I don't think Rashford should be involved in the squad tonight. I just don't think that it sets the right precedent to the rest of the squad. I just feel like it don't make Rashford feel like he's on a hierarchy, but it might feel to the players that he's on a hierarchy, because I think it's one game against Wolves midweek. You could have set the tone by saying, look, you're not going to be involved in the squad on Thursday, but you can come back in for the home game against West Ham on Sunday. It doesn't mean he's going to start, but he could have been involved in it. And it's just a shame, really, because I think that, Ten Hag's man management of some situations, I think, has been a bit of a big downfall in terms of, obviously, he had the Varane situation where he said, look, you're not involved because of tactical reasons. Play Victor Lindelof at left back in the derby. You've had Casemiro, whether it was misconstrued or not, said, I wanted better football. And then he took Casemiro off at half time. He's obviously had the Ronaldo situation and the Sancho situation. And I felt with this one, he could have just said, yeah, do you know what? We're going to discipline him properly, because for me, I always feel like the Rashford situation is a bit like PSG and Mbappe. People might disagree, right? But I feel like
I'm going to let you land.
Yeah, it's kind of like we pinned our hopes on Rashford kind of being the guy that was going to get us back to the very, very top. And I feel like Mbappe is one of them players that can conjure something out of nothing. He can kind of lead a team. He's shown it with PSG. He can guide them to certain situations, but in the Champions League, they fell short. I thought with Rashford, we've kind of thought that he was going to be the be all and end all with Martial as well. I have to throw my guy Martial in there. I thought them two were going to be like the two that were going to bring us back. And, their link up was good. And Martial's had his injuries and it's not really worked. And I feel like with Rashford, he will always get you output. in terms of like every season, 10 or 15 goals and stuff. But in terms of performances, I even think over his time here, he's had 3 out of 7 good seasons. But performances, I've never seen him for 90 minutes. I'm like, yep, you've been brilliant. He always gets output, a bit like Heung-min Son. So it's just a tricky one. I don't think that he should be involved tonight. I think it's a bit of a shame. And do you know what I find funny, Mina?
Yeah.
It was only last year that when it was Wolves away, that's when he overslept. This time he's gone out partying. So it's like 2 years in a row, Wolves away, something's happened, a situation, and we'll probably do the same thing tonight, which is we probably won't start because Garnacho will start and Anthony, I'm thinking. And Rashford will come off the bench and try and save the day for us again because the performance I'm not expecting to be good. But I don't think he should be involved tonight.
But do you think is because the way that I've been very much in like I don't care about this Rashford situation. Like discipline him, don't discipline him. I've seen people comparing it to the Sancho situation. I've seen people comparing it to the Ronaldo situation. And I think they're all different situations. But do you think that I feel like, and this is also linked to Ten Hag's relationship that he has with the younger players, I don't think he has the best man management. Like on an individual basis, I don't think he has good man management. And I think we're seeing it. This Rashford situation is probably being resolved with Rashford, but also I think as well as, you know, executives at Manchester United, the Sancho situation and the Ronaldo situation. And on top of that, due to the number of academy players that have left, today has been announced that Hansen Aaron has left. He's gone to Bremen, to the Bundesliga. And that's another player that we brought into our academy, similar to, you know, what's his name? Alvaro Fernandez, etc. Other more players that were promised minutes by Ten Hag and just never got that.
Yeah, Amad Diallo last week against Newport didn't even get a minute.
That's another example. And you know what? I'm going to talk about it when we talk about starting 11 because I would like to see him get a chance. But we're going to come to that. Do you think that Ten Hag's man management kind of is, I don't want to say it's part of the reason why United are doing badly this season, on top of, you know, the way that United are playing? Because the way that I see it, and I have this debate with Marcel all the time, I don't see any style of football. I don't see anything.
I don't. Do you know what is funny, right? And I was saying this with Saeed yesterday, is that I'll answer both of them. With this season, in terms of the football with Ten Hag, and we're 18 months into it now properly, we could say. Since the Carabao Cup, I think we've actually regressed ever since then. I think we scraped top 4. People don't realise how closely Liverpool were coming up behind us. If we had another 3 or 4 games to go in the league, we could have lost top 4. That's how close it was becoming. So I think since the Carabao Cup, our performances haven't been great. And the maddest thing is that the season we're having this year, I thought was going to be our first season, but the football will be better. So I thought, we'll get better football, but we might finish in the mid-table, not win a trophy. So I was like, cool, I can accept that as long as I can see progression on the pitch of what we're trying to do. A bit like Ange at Spurs, but obviously the season's not over. They might get top 4. This year was where I expected top 4 and a trophy. So it's kind of like the seasons have swung for me because the season we had last year is what I thought we'd get this year. And it's not happened. So that is a big worry because I think when you've been here 18 months, I know a lot of these players, by the way, I'm not going to say it's just Ten Hag. A lot of these players are not good enough. Mina, like I've grown up. I don't know, obviously your age, of course, but I've grown up watching us and I've seen players come in and out when we signed Park Ji-sung, the Nanis, the Andersons, players that I loved, but they weren't the main starters, but they were able to get to a certain level. Ferguson was able to rotate and we won things with everyone playing a part. And I feel like Ten Hag has come out and already said that, you know, about a couple months ago, I want to be able to build with 14 players. And I think that shows that he just wants to have not a small squad, but he wants to have a main 14 he can rely on, he can turn to, and that's who he's going to use. And I think that's had a negative impact because the man management going on to Alvaro Fernandez has been poor. We had no Reguilon, we had no Luke Shaw, no Malacia, and he didn't even give Alvaro Fernandez a chance. It was a chance to see how good he can be. Ferguson would have played him. And look, I'm not saying that Alvaro Fernandez is amazing and he would have been the best left back in the league or anything like that. But what I'm saying is at least people would be able to see what he's capable of and whether we can make up our own mind. Yeah, he's not ready yet or he is good enough. Now it's we don't know if he was good enough. And now he goes to Benfica and he could cook there and then they keep him and sell him for 40, 50 million in future. But we didn't even get the chance to see him. Amad Diallo against Newport the other day, he brings an Amari Force in, which is a youngster, and I think he's going to leave as well. But he didn't bring on Amad, who I see had a good cameo against Nottingham Forest, done more than Anthony in 25 minutes than what he done in 65. And then you got Pelestri's agent coming out yesterday. And I don't know if you saw them quotes, but you know, unprofessional the way he's been treated. You know, he promised minutes. Other Manchester United players have been like rubbed up sort of by that situation. And I think it has a domino effect. At the end of the day, right, forget the money that these players earn, yeah. they're human beings. It's just like me and you. We do streams. People might be like, "Oh, can I jump on a stream?" Blah blah. We let them jump on the streams and we show love. But at the end of the day, if people disrespect, people disrespect. And I think if that happened with me and you, we'd talk about it. Like, I don't appreciate the way that like my man spoke to you or whatever it is like that. That happens within players. You think these lot are in the dressing room just like all loving Ten Hag? No, there's definitely whispers going on. I don't think Ten Hag's management's been great. And I always remember this quote from Tagliafico, who played with him at left back at Ajax. He said Ten Hag needs to spend more time talking to the substitutes and reserves because he makes no time for them. And that was alarming for me because I thought at Ajax, you're not going to have the squad that you're going to have at Man United. And Man United, you're always going to have a bigger squad than teams in Europe because we compete for more things. We always have more talent coming through. There's always a bigger roster. And I don't think he's handled a lot of players right. And I'm starting to get to the point where, you watch Mandem talk with Saeed. I'd probably say I'm in the 10% of Man United fans that are still giving him a chance to turn it around. But between now and the international break, this could be where I turn and I say, look, do you know what? He could work at a Dortmund or somewhere else, but it's ran its course. And I'm starting to struggle with what I'm clinging on to in terms of why I think he can turn it around, if I'm honest, Mina.
I'll be real. I think February is the biggest month for Ten Hag. I remember November, December.
As in this February.
This February, right now. The February we've just come into is the biggest month. And it's not because it's big games. It's because we're playing a lot of mid-table teams. Like, is it on paper, this should be easy 15 points.
But they're not.
Games,
what?
15 points.
Fulham, Luton away.
Wolves, Luton. Who else we got? We got Villa. And and West Ham. That's the 5 teams that we play in February before we actually play the FA Cup at the end of the month, and then Man City away.
Yeah, that's it.
I genuinely think this is the most important month for Ten Hag because if you can easily turn around and walk away with 15 points out of 15 points, a lot more people, they won't buy into it, but they'll be like, okay, we're still within that contention of mathematically being able to make top 4. I think top 4 shouldn't be the conversation that we should be having because let's be, and I ask people this all the time, would you rather, I had this debate with Marcel yesterday as well, and Marcel suggested that it's not always about results, it's most of the time it's about performance. And I said, I would much rather take results because results is what gives you the 3 points. I don't want a good performance where I'm like, oh, we should have won. We were the better team. No, I just want the 3 points because that's what that matters.
Yeah. It's true.
And with Ten Hag I think what the issue is that there's no performance, and when there is the 3 points, it's more so in an undeservedly way. Like for example, that Wolves game at the beginning of the season. If I had known that was what the season was going to be like, I would have lowered my hopes. Because just like you, I came into the season expecting, I said top 3. I said in and around that title, in and around it. So top 3. And I said a major trophy. So FA Cup and make a deep run in Champions League. I think I said semis.
Could get to the quarters or something.
Quarters, semis. Yeah. That's what I said. And the reason why I said that is because we spent 200 million in the window. We brought in all the main components of what we needed in the team. So the goalkeeper, the striker,
the Mason
Mount, who I don't know where he is. We brought all of that in, and unfortunately, it's not worked out. But are you? Because you said you're in the 10% that are still hoping that he turns it around. And
before I answer your question, are you?
I don't care
because I actually haven't heard your view on.
Yeah. My view is like I got to like November times. I was very much at I don't care anymore whether he stays, whether he leaves. I don't care because I don't see the season being turned around.
So you're basically like whatever Ineos go with and Barada. I'm gonna back him.
They choose to sack him. They choose to sack him. If they choose to not,
you're in the same boat as me. Then that is mad.
I'm not hoping for him to turn it around. I want him to because I would like United to finish in top 4. Let's be real. You don't want to see your team in Europa or if we make it out of Europa, don't even try for Conference League. I don't want to see United in the Conference League next year.
Facts.
I'd rather be just out of Europe like entirely. And to be honest, you always want to see your team in Champions League. Let's be real. So I'm hoping that he could turn it around, but there's 99% of me that fully believes that he's not going to, because I think it's a combination of a lot of stuff. I think, just the players alone, I don't know if it's fitness or it's fatigue, but you get to the 55th.
Our midfield cannot run.
No legs. There is no legs in that midfield. And, we come up against, all we need to do is come up against teams that just want it a bit more than us.
100%.
We saw Nottingham Forest. Gibbs White said it. Some of these guys don't want to be here. They don't want to be playing. And at Wolves today, yeah, we're gonna get onto it because I'm scared of a few Wolves players. I think that there's a few Wolves players that we saw in the first game of the season. Easily, they could have walked away 3-1 with that result. But quickly, just on the Ten Hag thing, do you feel more like you're hoping that he turns it around, or you want him to turn it around?
I want him to turn it around. I don't think he will, though. I think it's gotten a bit too far. I'd love him to turn it around because the truth is, he was the manager that I wanted 100%. I was clear on it. Pochettino was second. I really wanted Ten Hag. And I thought after the first season, okay, he's guided us to top 4 and, won a trophy. Now we'll kick on and see his football. And there's just no rhythm. I'm not really clued up with, I'm clued up with the players, but I'm not really clued up with what he's trying to do with the signings he's got. And I just think as the season goes on, it's getting more worrying. And I even don't want another manager to come in and have these same crop of players. At the end of the day, we need a clear out now. I say that I look at Liverpool. I hate Liverpool, of course, arch rivals over Man City. But look at the way Michael Edwards is always able to get rid of Ryan Brewster, Dominic Solanke, Brad Smith, Brad Jones. Like, there's players that they said, look, they're not good enough. We're going to clear it out. Man United need to clear out because no matter what manager comes in, if they have to deal with these crop of players that have been here for 4, 5, 6 years, they're just not good enough. So it's players and manager. And I just think this manager has probably ran its course. If he gets top 4, there's no reason to sack him whatsoever. And people asked me this on Saisha. They said, what do you mean? Like yesterday, we were arguing about it. I said, if he gets top 4, there's no reason to sack him because he's got what us fans would want, even though the football's not been great. He deserves one more year off the back of that. You can't have 2 seasons and sack someone after getting top 4, even if we don't win a trophy.
I don't agree. I feel like...
Do you not?
Yeah, I feel like it depends on how he gets top 4. If he gets top 4 because United are on a clear run of games, winning points.
But the only way we're going to get top 4, Mina, is by being consistent. Because
being consistent, but also I think playing style is probably the most important thing out of this because we criticized previous managers for having like Ollie ball. We criticized that. Because why? It was counter-attacking football. It was individual brilliance. It was, Bruno was putting in a shift. Marcus Rashford, Martial, Mason Greenwood at the time. A lot of players carried the team on their back. Whereas under Ten Hag, I think when you have been allowed to spend as much money as you have, 400 and something million, 2 windows, and you've brought in the players that you've wanted, the Antonys, the Ananas, Lisandro Martinez, if you still don't have a clear, distinctive playing style, it doesn't matter if you get top 4 or not. Clearly, you can't do the job because, he was brought in to win. And he was brought in to take United back to the top. Yeah. But also, he was brought in because off the back of the way that he plays football, the way that he gets the team to play football. So the way that I see it is United could get top 4. This is very hypothetical because, 11.
Yeah, we both don't think we will, by the way, if you're watching.
Yeah, and also, I think it's more so dependent on people dropping points. Like last year, there was a couple of seasons ago when Arsenal were just
when Tottenham, when Tottenham
crazy, they were just dropping points like crazy and then dropped out of the top 4 race. I think it will be something similar where other teams are dropping points and United are capitalizing on that. But if that happens and United are only just about winning games and there's no distinctive playing style, he has to go.
Okay, no, that's fair. See, it's good that we disagree because I just don't think if you're in your second season and you do get top 4 again under a new regime, it warrants a sack. Like if someone walked down the street and just said to me, look, this is what he's done, I don't think it would warrant a sack. And Twalumba, I don't think we get top 4, but I'm saying if he does, I don't think he gets sacked for me just because he worked with Overmars and Van der Sar. So he had a structure at Ajax and that's something we now have. So this is why I look at it. It's like 1-1 in seasons. If the club want to give him another year or say another season, but they get to November, December and it doesn't work out and they want to let him go, cool, I understand it. If they want to get rid in the summer and get a new manager in, then cool, I'm also for that. It just depends on what the club want to do because they might want to walk in the summer, and I always call it like the men in black. They might want to walk in their black suits and be in July and be like, right, I'm just going to say Graham Potter before everyone shoots me, but they want Graham Potter. Graham Potter comes in and they say, right, we're walking and starting a regime, and so is Graham Potter. We're all on a level playing field. Let's build it together. Or they're going to look at it and say, look, we know what Ten Hag was like at Ajax. Omar Barada was a fan of him when he was at Ajax. So let's maybe give him a chance under our regime, our structure, and we're going to spend the money wisely and see what his plan actually is. And they might give him another chance. But it really depends now on this next sort of 6 to 8 weeks because they've already come out and said, look, director of football in the next few weeks. And then Barada and that DOF are going to determine Ten Hag's future. Now, if I'm honest, when I read that, that's worrying for me for Ten Hag because if I was the CEO or whatever they want to call them, right, I would be like, we are looking to plan for the future with Ten Hag. We're going to assess the summer targets. When you say you're getting a DOF in to determine Ten Hag's future, that means you've already got doubts. So for me, if you've already got doubts about a manager when you're just stepping into the football club, they're most likely going to get rid of him. And I think the big thing, what I said on Saeed's channel, is if they keep Ten Hag and it gets worse, or it stays like this as a plateau, which is not good enough, Mina, you're going to have Simone Inzaghi, you've got Ruben Amorim, you've got Graham Potter, you've got potentially Thomas Tuchel, you've got Nagelsmann that's at Germany, but ends obviously after the Euros. There's going to be managers of potentially out there, but there's going to be clubs also looking for managers. And if there is a manager that Barada and the DOF want, and they don't move for him, and he goes to another club, and Ten Hag stays, and then Ten Hag falls off a cliff, they're going to be like, damn, we haven't got the manager we wanted to build with. So do Barada and Ineos go for the person they actually want, who they must have an idea of who they want to come in? Or do they say, right, Ten Hag, we're going to give him one more season? And this is the thing. I want a clear plan for Man United now. I want to get to June the 1st, when that season ends, and know if that manager's staying or if someone's coming in. A bit how like Van Gaal. Van Gaal won the FA Cup. He was gone. And it's like, right, we're getting Jose Mourinho and someone's coming in. Because what people forget, it's a Euro summer, you know. And when there's a Euro summer, June 12th to July the 14th.
Right off for anything.
Yeah, you're right off. You can't buy players. You can't be making sort of big managerial changes. At the end of the day, it is going to have to be decided by early June. And then that way we've got a clear direction. But I'm in exactly the same camp as you. If they keep him, I'm going to support him and say it's 1-1 in seasons. Here's your decider. Show me something. If they get rid, I'm going to say, right, whatever manager you get in, I am going to back and go from there. Before we go into the Wolves game, who are like your top two managers that you'd want?
I'm glad you brought this up, because I was going to say, talking about the idea of structure, and, you know, because people always say this, Ten Hag worked at Ajax because he had Overmars, he had Van der Sar. I genuinely think Jose Mourinho with structure at Manchester United would do bits. Like legit, like yesterday that news. Let me land.
About this return, right?
Let me land.
Mina, don't do this.
Let me land. The reason why I say that is because I feel like Jose Mourinho, he's right, by the way. He does have unfinished business. I don't know whether that is to still he's waiting to fight Rashford and Shaw and Martial. There's still a lot of players that are still here that he left, Lindelof, etc. But I think Jose Mourinho has standards when it comes to as a manager. Yeah. And the thing with United is, because I don't buy it when people are saying they want Zerbi, etc. United need a winner, someone who has won silverware. They need a manager who can win and can implement playing style. I don't think there's a lot of managers out there like that. You know, when Liverpool brought in Klopp, he was coming off the back of winning Bundesligas. He was coming off the back of Champions League runner-up. He was coming off the back of multiple trophies at Borussia Dortmund. Yeah, Pep coming off the back of, you know, winning stuff at Bayern, Barca, etc. I genuinely feel, and yesterday when I heard that Jose, I guess I wouldn't say news, because I think it was more so his camp putting it out there into the world, like United might not take him, but he's available in it, so someone can take him. I wouldn't be against having him as a interim or a temp. Like I genuinely would not.
Why would you even want an interim or a temp in Jose? What do you mean?
Just in the instance, just in the instance that Ineos and Omar Barada, etc., haven't found, or they, because I think the managerial process, if they haven't started it now already, it's going to take some time. I think it'll take some time. Okay. I think deliberation, all of that. If you're going through 3, 4, 5 managers, you're weighing out your options. It's going to take some time. I look at you lot. People in the chat are going to hate me, and I'm scared to actually look at the chat. But I would not be against Jose Mourinho. I genuinely wouldn't be against it. I think Eric Ten Hag couldn't lace his shoes.
I'm shocked by you. I'm not going to lie. Like, I respect your football opinions, and I still respect your opinion. It's opinions at the end. There's no right or wrong.
It's opinions.
But like, I'm very shocked that you would want to go back to Jose Mourinho. For me, the playing style you said that he'd implement, I think it's a poor playing style. We don't like, so a lot of fans don't even like Ten Hag's football, David Moyes' football. Mourinho actually really made me hate football in the time when he was here. I've never had a manager that was actually successful in winning the Europa League and the Carabao Cup. And even after that, I woke up and I was like, damn, that means he's staying. I'm that type that I would rather watch Mourinho at another club. Like when he's at Roma and he's getting sent off and he's doing his animation stuff, I'm like, yeah, brilliant. It's fun to watch when Mourinho is not your manager. But when he's your manager, I hate the football. I think he stifles a lot of players. He likes buying a lot of experienced players when I want to move for more the younger contingent and actually get legs in our midfield, like you're saying as well. I think he's everything we don't want. And this is my rebuttal to you, right? You've got Omar Barada that's come in from Manchester City. Look at the football Manchester City play. Look at the managers they've had, right, since he's been there. Well, mainly it's been Pep. He was at Barcelona before that. You've had the Frank Rijkaards, you know. You've had the Pep Guardiolas. You've had the Ernesto Valverde. You've had the managers that go on and on. I know Xavi's leaving, but when he was there, Pep Guardiola there. The football he's watched Omar Barada at City and Barcelona to what Mourinho's are. It's like one being in Tokyo and one being in LA. They're two different ends of the world. And I don't think Omar could come in and say, yeah, with what I've watched at Man City, with what I want to build and the people I've been around, I want Jose Mourinho to come in. I'm against it as an interim. I'm against it full time. And you said about winning. Jose Mourinho is a winner, but I don't think he comes here and wins anything because these players are not good enough and you have to build something to then win something. He only will stay for like 2 or 3 years. And the playing style is poor for me. So I think it's the wrong idea.
You're saying Mourinho doesn't come into like projects, basically. He has to have the right players to kind of come in and win. So
no, not necessarily he has to have the right players. I don't think he's here for the longer term, but also I don't think us as fans would have the patience with his football to have him come in. I think it's easy because it's Jose Mourinho and what he's done in the past. I think he's outdated now. I think he's older in his ways. I think he needs to go international football. I'd love to see him to manage Portugal. I just think with the direction Man United want to go in, I want to get a younger, hungrier manager, even someone that's not even a proven winner. Just someone that has a good style of play that I can watch at Old Trafford and be like, look, I know what I'm getting. We might not have to win every game, but I believe in
That's not good enough. Having a style of play is the bare minimum. I feel like United need a manager.
Mourinho style of play. We've had it here. We've had Paul Pogba, one of the best midfielders that Man United have had in recent years.
Mourinho didn't have. My argument is Mourinho didn't have structure at the time. He had the Glazers that were he finished second with that dusty team. And what did he get that summer? No DOF. Who was it? Edward Wood in charge. Yeah, he was getting in the likes of Fred. The likes of Fred was brought in. No disrespect to Fred because I love him, but to back a manager, you need to have the structure in place, and you need to have a manager. In my opinion,
you think with the structure in place, even though Mourinho is a winner, you think the football you'll see under Mourinho is something that's sustainable and long term?
It'll win us trophies. If he's coming in for 2-3 years, he's not coming in.
How is he going to beat a Liverpool and Arsenal?
Is that what you want, though? Is that what you want? Is that what you want? A manager for 8 to 10 years, a clock basically. That comes
I don't have to have that. I want a manager to come in. I think we're a step one team. No, I want a manager that can come in with a clear identity and get us building step one. That's why, look, you're going to shoot me. But Graham Potter, if he came in, I know what he done at Chelsea, he flopped. But if he came in and built a foundation of football, then I'm fine with it. If Zerbi came in and built a foundation of football, I'm fine with it. You know, there's managers out there that I feel like excite me more than the Jose Mourinho project. I think Jose Mourinho football will never be that great and it will never improve. He is a proven winner, but I don't think he wins with us straight away because these players are not good enough. I just think the Jose factor is just, I don't know what people are buzzing about. Saeed was even trying to make a case for it. And he even asked me now, would I take Ten Hag or Mourinho? I said, I'd rather stick with Ten Hag than have Mourinho come back.
I think Mourinho comes in now and turns this around to top 4. I think within the realm of top 4, so top 6, I would say. How
did you feel when Mourinho was manager? Like, did you actually enjoy it?
Oh, I hated him.
There you go.
I hated him, but I'll say this: I hated him and I hated the players as well. I was very much I felt like there was injustice for Mourinho up to a certain point, and then he became entertainment. You know, his post-match behavior in the press conferences, his behavior on the touchline. It was entertainment at that point. But from a managerial and coaching perspective, and unfortunately, I was a big Pogba fan, still a Pogba fan. Free my guy, and he's riding a 4-year sentence right now. Free him.
Yeah, facts.
But I felt like Mourinho with those players like Pogba, huge egos, etc. It was bound to fail. It was bound. And your point about Graham Potter or De Zerbi,
or like even a Ruben Amorim, there's Simone Inzaghi, there's just people out there.
Bring me someone that's got a style of football and has won trophies.
Okay, can I throw one at you? I'm going to throw one at you. And I think this is a very interesting one, and people in the chat as well. Make sure you liking the video on Mina's thing as well. So big up people. Make sure you subscribing if you're new. I'm going to throw a name at you because we've got the Girona manager that people are gassing up. You've got the Ruben Amorims, you've got Simone Inzaghi, you kind of got the Potters and De Zerbis, the up and comers, right? And then you've got Mourinho, who's more the experience. I'm going to throw a name in who's in the middle, who's had a half and half career, but won trophies. He's got a bit of aura as well. Unsettled at Bayern. If you take Mourinho, would you take Thomas Tuchel at Man United? Do you think he's got the aura and he's got the bit of balance of winning trophies to suit us? I'm not saying Zidane people because he's not going to come.
I've seen what Tommy T did at Chelsea. If he could do that with Chelsea, maybe he could do it with United. Maybe the reason why I'm not leaning towards Graham Potter, the idea of Graham Potter, is because I think that going from Brighton to Chelsea is a big step.
Yeah.
But then to Manchester United, that's a
bigger step.
It's a huge step. And he crumbled at Chelsea. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. So why the hell would I bring him into Manchester United? The Zerbi, unfortunately, I don't feel like I've seen enough of him.
I agree. It's a small sample size that people get excited on.
Even Graham Potter, I feel like he left Brighton prematurely. I felt like he should have stuck out at least until the end of the season.
I agree with you.
Gone to Chelsea. Thomas Tuchel is a proven winner. He's won stuff. But again, you know what I think is a big part of Manchester United, and it's very sad that I'm saying this because I sound like mainstream media, but I think personality plays into it as a
that's why I think Tuchel has got personality. That's why I think he might suit it.
Just quickly, Aminor with a super chat. Big up Aminor says, Ty, I think Mina and Saeed are concussed.
Big up Aminor, man. Hope you're good, bro.
I'm not concussed, guys. I'm not concussed because I was dwelling on it yesterday, dwelling on it today. Thomas Tuchel, for me, it would be an interesting one. But I do think with the managerial prospects this summer, I think it's going to be as entertaining as probably like a summer transfer window.
It is. They all got asterisks. This is the thing. They've all got asterisks. There's no one that comes in other than a Pep or Klopp, and you're like, right, I know what I'm getting. I know they're the top proven managers. Like, you've got people say Hansi Flick. I'm like, he done well at Bayern. I'm like, he done poor at Germany, and he done a one or 2 year stint at Bayern. And people
is that the guy that picks his nose all the time? The German manager.
I think he might, Yeah. No, that's Joachim Low. No, that's Joachim Low. No, that's Joachim Low. Yeah. Don't want him, but you know what I mean?
Anywhere near United.
Hansi Flick and people gas him up, and I'm like, he done 1-2 years at Bayern Munich, and everyone talks about that. But I'm like, he didn't do nothing at Germany before that. What was he doing even before Bayern? I just feel like no matter whatever manager you get at any club at the top level, Barcelona looking for a new manager, whoever it is, they've all got an asterisk by their name, and that's including Mourinho. They've all got something that can rub someone up the wrong way or reasons to doubt them. And it's like, what manager is going to fit at what club? That is basically what clubs have got to get right now. And it's the same as the striker market. I said the striker market last year, you got your Osimhen, you got your Vlahovic's, you got people like Ivan Toney's, you got people out there that at a certain club they might work, at a certain club they might not. But how good are they? I grew up on bad boy strikers. These strikers aren't that great now. So whatever clubs they go to, it's like if Ivan Toney goes to Arsenal, yeah, he's Premier League proven, but can he be handling the pressure of you're meant to score 1 every 2 games? Stuff like that. Dusan Vlahovic, not really worked at Juve, but worked at Fiorentina. If he went to Chelsea, would it work? Victor Osimhen, a bit raw on his materials, but he's got that ability to cause chaos. Darwin Núñez, the same. Strikers and managers right now, I just feel like we're going through an era of football where there's always going to be some doubts about them. There is always going to be change. And this is the thing. This is why I don't know what happens at Man United, because they might not be clear on it themselves. I don't know. It's
interesting for me. For me, the biggest part about managers is I want to feel about my manager the way that Liverpool fans feel about Klopp.
Yeah.
I haven't felt that for over 10 years. The last time I felt that was Sir Alex Ferguson. 10 years is a long time, guys. You know what's happened in 10 years? I finished high school. I finished college. I did 2 degrees. A lot has happened in 10 years. I just want to feel about managers.
See Van Persie run to Fergie after that away goal against Stoke. Do you remember that? Yeah.
And even till today, when some players who barely ever played it under Sir Alex Ferguson, when they see him, like nothing can come anything near close to it. They still call him boss. I was watching a podcast with Everett, and he was saying they still call him boss. They don't refer to him by his name.
It's mad. And do you know what I think is big as well? Is that even like today's era, man management is one of the most elite skills to have. Because back then, if you weren't playing someone, it's cool, you're not playing them. If you're rotating, whatever, if there's a kickoff, that is what it is. We had to read the newspaper. I remember checking football scores for teletext. There'll be some people here that don't even remember teletext. Waiting for the screen to flash, refresh with Man United going 1-0 up. Wicked feeling. Watching match of the day, doing all that stuff. At the end of the day now, with social media and the way people are with mental health and how sensitive things are in just today's generation, being an elite man manager is also crucial if you want to succeed at a football club at the highest level. People might disagree, but I think being a man manager, like Eddie Howe, for example, I know he's gone for a sticky patch at Newcastle, but the way people talk about his man management, them relationships are what's able to make, what should I say, in tough patches, make players stick by you. not throw in the towel. Man management. And maybe that's what Ten Hag, like we're saying, hasn't got, and our results haven't been great, and we've not been able to get out of that spiral. The only saving grace now, before we get off, I know you want to talk about the Wolves game, the only saving grace now for me, Mina, is Casemiro, Mainu, Varane, Martinez. Make that rectangle work. That is the only thing that can save our season.
Let's talk about saving our season. Obviously, we got Wolves today who have quite a few players that are available. Man United now as well, because this is where I think the pressure comes on to Ten Hag, because he's placed a lot of emphasis on players coming back from injury, and now pretty much most players are back from injury, except for Mason Mount and Malacia. Entire backline is back. I think Johnny Evans was out with the illness in the FA Cup game. Maguire is back. Varane is back. Lisandro Martinez is back. Onana is back from AFCON, and he's expected to feature today, which I'm going to come on to that, because I just think that's sad. I think that's sad. The guy went to AFCON for 4 games, played 1, and on top of that, Bayinda had 1 chance, which I feel like, rotation should be a thing. But when you're in desperate need of 3 points every game, I guess the manager will play what he thinks is his strongest lineup. Do you think today is where the beginning of the season starts? For me, not gonna lie, guys, side note, aside from football, February is when my new year starts. January for me is a trial run. So February is when my new year starts. So the way that I'm looking at it is, this is when United's comeback starts for the season as well. It's a new year in my eyes. It's a new start. It's a fresh start. It's the first of the month. Wolves away. The manager has to do something, because he's got probably his most strongest lineup available.
This is it, yeah. And we need consistency. We need rhythm in the starting 11, and it starts today. I agree with you. We've got games now coming up thick and fast. We've got West Ham on the weekend, and obviously next week Premier League. There's no break until March now. So this is about the rhythm. And last year, the success was built off Casemiro, Varane, and Martinez. That triangle there was what got us through the top 4 campaign and winning the Carabao Cup. We were not brilliant, but they had that mentality, had the drive to, dig deep, headers out the box, crunching tackles, get the crowd going. Even when we were winning corners, shaking Dallo for winning a corner. Little things like that, the little 5%, 6% things, I missed that. And now with Casemiro and Varane back and Martinez back, I'm hoping that we can build something. We've always said about Kobe, a great talent, 18 years of age. I really like Kobe, but I think one negative in his game is that he doesn't have a lot of legs. I know he can run a little bit, but he's not like, he doesn't get about the pitch properly. Like him and Casemiro now, I think they need to play as a pivot, and I would change it. Go back to a 4-2-3-1, what was successful last year. Forget the 4-3-3 and just have Casemiro there destroying, get Kobe on the ball trying to dictate and control, and have Bruno licensed to run around. Because when you pigeonhole Bruno into a number 8, it limits what he does, because he's a frustrating player. Sometimes he gives away the ball, sometimes he plays a great ball. But if you just pigeonhole him into a section, it kind of limits the way he is. He doesn't want to be in a cage. You need to just give him freedom, and sometimes it will come off and sometimes it doesn't. So now this is like, right, I want to see that front 4 in front of Onana and just build that consistency, build that momentum. Because I've said on Saeed Show and the Mandem Talk, look, all these things I've been building up back in Ten Hag. I've said, look, I said about his key players being back, and he came out and said it himself. Once I've got these key players back, it's like 5 new signings. Ten Hag, you've said everything that I've said to reason to back you up. Now you've got to back me up, bro. Like it's like me back, you know what I mean? It's like me backing the boys and saying, yo, like, nah, allow him, and then he does the same F-ups again. And it's like, right, well, Ty, you said this. And it's like, well, I've got nothing to say now. So Ten Hag, you need to play them 4, and I want to see consistent football. Well, try and see a consistent football and consistent results. And I think if we can't do it with them 4, who are his staple players, then he's lost it and it's done. And I'm worried tonight. I'll be real with you. Despite me saying about this 4 coming back, and it's a big month and we've got regular game time, and Ten Hag's talking positively, it's Wolves. We don't have a great record at Wolves, Mina. Let's be real. It's one of the most dreaded fixtures I have. Look what they've done to us in the first game of the season, even though I know Nunes went to City in the end. But Cunha and Neto in transition are going to cause havoc. I'm a big fan of Cunha. He was linked to us in that January transfer window when we got Weghorst. He can ball carry, picks up the ball from deep. He's strong. He can dribble. He can link up play. His finishings are maybe a bit off, but Gary O'Neill's put that confidence in him that you're my main number 9 now. You're going to lead the way this season. And he's done that. I would take him at Man United in a heartbeat, because I think he's a very good rounded player. And then you got Pedro Neto. He's been unlucky with injuries this year, but we all know what Pedro Neto can do. He can play off the left. He can play on the right. He can travel with the ball. He can finish. He's got a dangerous set piece in him at times. And I just think Man United always give the ball away in dangerous positions, allowing the opposition to break. And with Wolves playing a back five and having Neto and Cunha able to expose us on the transition, I think we need to be careful tonight. And I'm not confident going into this game against Wolves. I like what they're doing. I like what Gary O'Neill's doing. And I don't like, frankly, what we're doing. There's no way that I can come in here, gas it up and be like, yeah, United, this and that. Of course, I'm excited to watch us play. But do I think we're going to win? No, I don't. Do I think Wolves have got a better team than us? No, I don't. But are they more cohesive at the moment? Have they got people that can cause something, do something out of nothing? Yes. Have they got the home fans? Is it under the lights? Yes. All these little things add up, man.
I think it's interesting because you emphasize a lot on, obviously, the way that United play. And I think it's like I said, Ten Hag for me is on fraud watch after this month. If his main players are back and if he dares to use Mason Mount missing as an excuse, because one thing I dread after a United game is that post-match conference, because you know that the comments from the manager is gonna rub everybody the wrong way, regardless of if United win or lose. And I think if United today have a poor result, he's gonna touch on, is the first game back with all his players. He's still missing some, like Mason Mount. I know for a fact he's going to say that. But I think the biggest worry is, we can have the likes of, Eriksen back or Casemiro. We can have Kobe. We can have Varane. Goals is the biggest concern for me because United are currently joint third for the least goals in the league. Joint third. Luton have more goals. And I think the other two is the two below us is Sheffield, who's got 19, and then Burnley got 22. And then we're joint with Everton, who have 24. Now, the only thing that those three teams that I just named have in common, they're all in the relegation zone right now. So we are scoring on a level of relegation teams.
Why do you think this is? Is it personnel? Is it tactics?
I think it's a bit of both. And also, I said this when we were buying Rasmus Højlund. I said that buying a striker, number 9, was not going to answer the problems that we had. The root of the issues that we have will not create anything for our strikers. And we've seen it this season. Rasmus Højlund, 5 out of 8 goals is off the back of himself. He's not getting, no one's getting assists for him. Garnacho getting opportunities.
Last 3 goals, no assists. Yeah.
He's playing like how I play in pro clubs. Like he's creating all his chances for himself. Like legit, he's creating all these chances for himself. And I think him coming in, that's why I said, like, even if we got Kane in the summer, if we got Osimhen, if we got Ivan Toney, if we got whoever, it was not gonna lead to United scoring. Our number 9 was never gonna score 30 goals in the league or in all competitions, because I just never thought that was a concern. But it's like a trickling effect.
Is it a wide man problem? I'm going to put you on the spot. Is it Anthony, Garnacho, Rashford?
I think it's a wide man problem, but also, and I say this all the time, like for example about Anthony, I'm more worried about Anthony when he cuts in on his left foot, because 9 times out of 10 United's losing possession and we're getting hit on a counter attack, so it can lead to an opposition goal. That's my biggest concern with Anthony. My biggest concern with just creating chances is that, I don't know if you realize, but in build up, United do a lot of side to side, and if something's not working, they'll go back. Sometimes you have to go back to come forward.
But they do that a lot.
They do it a lot, and that's unsustainable because no one gets into little pockets of space. If a team is compact, United are not breaking them down. It doesn't matter if it's ammonia in Europa League. We saw it last year. The signs were there. We saw it last year. The signs were there. When teams have a low, when they play like with a low back line, etc., and they just sit deep and they just wait. United can't break that down. United struggle. Why? Because I feel like some of the players in possession are technically not good enough. They don't know what to do. They look up and, I feel like when you play cohesively and you're a team, you know where your players will be, because it would have been drilled into you hundreds and hundreds of times in training. So you watch Liverpool, for example, or you watch City, for example.
Yeah, of course.
Rodri doesn't even have to look up more than twice because he knows Kyle Walker where he's going to be. He knows if John Stone's playing. He knows where John Stone's going to be. He knows where Kevin De Bruyne will be. He knows where Foden will be if Foden's dropping into the pockets of space, Alvarez, etc. Because it's something that they've worked on a lot and it's been drilled into them. Whereas United, they don't look like they play in a way that they've been practicing stuff on the training ground.
Instinct players, Mina. This is what they are. Garnacho, Rashford, Bruno, they're all instinct players. Give them time to think. Theo Walcott, Raheem Sterling's the same, even though he was respected in the game. There are a lot of instinct players. They can't get the ball and say, right, let me compose myself for 2 seconds and just play a proper system. And this is where Kobe actually stands out. He should not be at 18 years of age starting regularly for Man United. We should not be, as fans, relying on Kobe Mainoo being in the starting 11 when the team drops. Eric Ten Hag should not be coming out and saying Kobe Mainoo is the most intelligent or he thinks far ahead than other players in the midfield. We're putting too much pressure on someone like him. Why? Because he has an IQ. He can he gives that calm presence in the midfield. A lot of players are just instinct players, and that's why I came on my show and I said the Aston Villa game was a perfect example of our season, Mina. You know, Aston Villa, first half, went 2-0 up. And then Unai Emery decided to keep the high line, try and, you know, not change things. Just go back and sit in a low block, make Man United have to kill you to score a goal, because we won't do it. But what did he do? Played the high line, transition, all we done is just spam balls in behind, and Garnacho and Rashford are able to run onto it. And that's what Man United want to do. They want to see teams come with a high line and we can just hit them with the ball in behind, and that is it. But having an actual proper setup and a plan, we can't do anything. We haven't got the players with the IQ to think of that. We've got a lot of players that I'm honest with you, Rashford, Garnacho, Antony, their first thought is more, what can I do for myself, rather than what can I do to set up a teammate or pass the ball. And these things go together, really, because when you play on a counter-attack and you've got space in behind, you can either just shoot or square it and do a FIFA goal. When you've actually got to go against a team that are sitting down with a low block, and you've actually got to use your brain and think. And our players can't think. We've got too many instinctive players. That's why I'm a big fan of Ahmad, because he's something different in the final third.
But then, so why do you think the manager is persistent to play with, you know, the likes of Antony? Because I'll be real, I don't think Antony. I think Ten Hag does not get enough criticism for buying Antony. I don't think so. If a player can register 1 goal assist, 1 goal involvement in an entire calendar year, if this was Richarlison who scored how many goals last season, people are trolling Spurs. People are taking the piss. I don't think Ten Hag gets enough criticism, especially because United also had other right wingers from the academy that could have had an opportunity when Antony's not been playing well. But it seems, the way that I see it with Ten Hag is that he persists to play players who are not playing well in the hopes that, you know, like if you play someone and they pick up form.
Oh, they'll get a bit of confidence.
So with Rashford, you know, when people were calling for Rashford to be dropped at the beginning of the season, that was never happening. Bruno Fernandes, never happening, unfortunately. Antony didn't really get dropped this season until, I remember Champions League. I was so shocked that he went for Pellistri over Antony, because even then I felt like that was a test. And Pellistri failed it because he hasn't got a sniff of any minutes. Bam, the first game you start, you get dashed in Champions League away to Bayern Munich. That's unfair. That's unfair. The pressure's going to get to him. The moment's going to get to him. You haven't relied on him in other games prior to that. And suddenly he's part of the first team when you know, you never really included him the season before that. And that's where my issue with like Ten Hag's man management comes in. But when we talk about just playing style, just in general, I don't think, bar Lisandro Martinez and Kobbie Mainoo, I'm not joking. I don't think there's anyone else in our starting 11 that is technically smart enough.
I actually, do you know what? I'll sneak Dalot in there because I think he's actually quite all right. I actually think I know he's not amazing.
I don't rate Dalot.
Oh, really? I wouldn't say you have to rate him, but I think technically he is pretty sound. Like he's comfortable going into sort of the central areas and stuff on the ball, left foot, right foot. But if that's the standards of like where we think we want to be, then of course it's not good enough. But I agree with you. I think a lot of these players could go, and you know, other than Sancho and Kobbie, they're the only ones that give me that sort of that technical security. Luke Shaw is okay at times. Eriksen, like someone said in the comment, is all right, but he hasn't got the legs. That's why you can't bank on Eriksen. But the squad is so limited. And this is why whatever manager comes in, as much as we want to change a manager or people want to change manager, we need to change these players. They're just not good enough. And if you look at the team, if we was not named Man United and we were named Road SC, we would be where we are, because that is the team what we are. Like, we're not good enough. The name of Manchester United is what puts fear into people, or what makes them think, you know, they might do something. I done a preview on Talking Wolves. Big up them guys. They're great over there. And they said, look, your players don't actually strike us of fear, but it's like Man United are coming to town tonight. It's the name. And that's the only thing that kind of keeps us alive at the moment, because unfortunately these players are not good enough. And even with the football, you know, he wants to play transition football, which basically for me kind of feels like you either win the ball high up and you transition quickly, or you're trying to counter attack, which is what we've seen, you know, against Newport. Like, this is the perfect example. I mean, you watch a game against Newport, we should be having 70% of the possession and passing it around and, you know, making rhythms and patterns. Every time Bruno got the ball, it was literally like, right, let's just spin it through over the top. Lisandro Martinez, he's very good he can pass the ball. I'm not discrediting him, but he's been told to get the ball and play it through. He played Garnacho through over the top a few times. They've been coached or told to do that. Now, for me, when you're going to Newport, we're 2-0 up. Keep the ball. Complete 10 passes together. I never see Man United put more than 5 passes together. And now I've said it, I'm going to watch it tonight and see if we even put 5 passes together. And I mean, not Onana and Maguire playing 1-2s or Varane playing 1-2s. I'm on about meaningful passes, you know, breaking through the lines, doing something. We don't do it. And for me, if you want to be a coach at Manchester United and your hope is just like hitting balls over the top, or I'm sorry, that's bullshit, ballless. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to swear on your stream, but it's bullish.
It's all right. You're welcome to stream. You're welcome to swear on stream, sorry. But you raised an interesting point, and it's a point that I always kind of get onto, is the way that United play is either counter-attacking or pressing. But I think that even when United press, and if you see United, they press in clusters. They press in fullback, winger.
Aston Villa first half didn't press. Second half decided to press like madmen. I'm like...
And the thing is, and I think that's done because I don't think United have the ability to press for prolonged periods in the game. We mentioned it at the beginning of the stream. 60 minutes into the game, United's got no legs. They got no legs in midfield. They got no legs up top. And unfortunately, players like Højlund have to play 90 minutes because United has no other striker, because your boy cannot stay fit.
Exactly.
He can't stay. And Højlund has to play 90 or so minutes. 90 so minutes. At some point, he's getting tired. And when United do press, I don't know if you've ever watched, because I've seen it so many times this season, and it's actually been very, very frustrating for me.
Not cohesive, though. Oh my God.
It's not cohesive. You have Højlund run 100 miles per hour to press someone, and there's no one behind him. There's no one behind him. You always
see their hands like this. Like, come. Yeah. It's a joke.
And no one's... And as a result, what happens? The opposition team pass out of the press.
Couple pass running at our midfield. Yep.
Literally every time. And this just goes back to I think the manager's instructions. And I look at him sometimes on the bench or on the touchline. He looks defeated. West Ham last year, yeah. We got West Ham again this month, yeah. But West Ham back in November, December time, the players were looking to him, and he's just standing there like this, arms crossed,
arms folded,
like this.
And do you know what's so bad about that? We didn't even have to make West Ham play good. They were actually poor that day, but they got 2 chances in the second half, took them and won 2-0. We had a chance in the first half, didn't take it, but they were crap. Like, they won the game, but they were crap. They didn't have to step out of gear 1, and they got a 2-0 win. And this is the pattern. Tonight, will Wolves have to play out of their skin to beat us? I can come in here and say, no, they don't. Wolves drop a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 tonight, they beat us. And that's how bad I think we are at the moment. Like, and it's a shame, because I shouldn't be saying that, but the truth is, this is not a small sample size. This is not just this season. We're talking from after the Carabao Cup, nearly 11 months. And look, everything I say, it should be like, I want to change a manager. But just because he's got his key players back, like we're saying, and he's been saying as well himself, I'm like, right, that's my last saving grace. Can you do something now you've got all your important players back? But really, the football's been bad since we've won the Carabao Cup. And tonight, Wolves don't have to play. We're not making teams have to play good to beat us. And I'm talking not the Liverpools, the Cities, the Arsenals. I'm on about the mid-table teams. If they drop a 7 out of 10, they will beat us, because what you said earlier is so key. They want it more than us. The basics.
If we do lose today, and we're going to come on to predictions and starting lineup. If we do lose today, we would have lost the same number of games that we've won in the league so far. But I'm hoping that we can get a result. Who do you think deserves to start? And just give me your prediction. What you think the scoreline will be
tonight? So I'm just checking your channel, Bino. Just checking. That's all right. I'm gonna smash a like on it. Tonight, I'm going to be honest with you. So, like, if you put a gun to my head and said, Ty, you got to pick a team to win, I'm saying Wolves 2-1. But if you want me to be honest with you, I just think it'll be 1-0. Okay. I don't see either team maybe, scoring more than 1 goal in the game. I think we score, we can't then break them down again, and they definitely score because we just won't keep a clean sheet. So I'm going to go with 1-0. And that's not even a good result. Like, I know it's Wolves away and like they're having an all right season. But the maddest thing is, which I didn't even know till today, Wolves beat us. They go above us. I didn't even know that.
Really?
Did you know that?
Oh, yeah. They're only 2. Oh, yeah.
Someone said it. I think Saeed said it to me at the end of the stream. He goes, Ty, if they beat us, they go above us. And I was like, huh?
Yeah. And we drop into like 10th. We drop into 10th. Yeah. We'll be 10th and they'll be 9th.
They've got an incentive to, exactly. Dawit, hang us in the comments. If they've got is there any more of a bigger incentive than a Thursday night game under the lights? If you beat Man United, you go above them. Like, they're going to be on it. If we're not at 100% or 110%, their effort and their will and their desire is going to out-battle us. Yeah, Mina, they go above us if they beat us tonight.
And you know what? A lot of the teams that we are playing this month are in and around around us. The Fulhams, the West Hams, etc. Brighton.
Yeah. Going to Luton away, my local team. The dungeons out there. They're going to be on it. Physical. They're like, they give 110%. They play for their manager. Look at Liverpool. Went there and drew. City went there and come back from 1-0 down. Arsenal, last minute winner. Chelsea hanging on 3-2. Spurs 1-0, but we're hanging on. Basuma got sent off. Brighton 3-0 down in 30 minutes. These teams are not a joke, man. Like, the standards of the Premier League now is definitely picking up. And when you want it more, like you were saying earlier, 100%, when teams play us and they put in that extra effort, can Man United match that? Do these players want to go through walls for this manager or even for themselves? We'll find out in this next 6 weeks between now and the international break, man.
It'll be an interesting 6 weeks.
What's your prediction as well, by the way?
My prediction is probably a draw. And if we win, we just about win.
And we won't deserve it.
But you know what? It's one of them ones where it's like, I don't even care if we deserve it or not. Because right now, I'll take 3 points every single time. If it's the same game as the beginning of the season when we played them, I'll be annoyed. But we got 3 points, so I'll be like, thank God, man. You know, I'll be I'll just be like, next game, on to the next game. But it's one of them ones where we have to pick up momentum right now because we are playing. We play today, we play on Sunday, then we play every week.
Well, what's your thoughts? Because it's not unrealistic. What if we lose tonight and then lose to West Ham? What's your thoughts going to be going into next week?
The manager's a fraud.
Yeah.
That's why I said this is the month for me. This is make or break month for him because this is we're playing mid-table teams. We are a mid-table team this season, so we're playing mid-table teams throughout the entire of February with a stronger squad than what we've had throughout the past 3, 4, 5 months. We've got a lot of players come back from injury. We got the back line that people were emphasizing we needed to play the Ten Hag style. We got the Varane and Martinez and Anana. We got Dallo. We got Luke Shaw. We got these players that supposedly are an important part of our team. We got Casemiro. That's a double pivot of 2 great players. Yeah. 15 points this month. 5 games, 15 points against Fulham, against West Ham, against Luton, against Wolves.
I don't think we beat Villa away.
You should be winning. United should be winning it on paper, but unfortunately, games are not won on paper.
Yeah, exactly.
If United can't come out and feel like they are better than these teams, because we might not be this season, but I don't want to be like, we're Manchester United. But some of these players are good enough. Let's be real. Some of these players are good enough, but it's like they have, mentality drop.
Confidence.
We go confidence in the gutter. We go a goal down and suddenly they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, guys. I mean this in the nicest way. If you cannot get 15 out of 15 points against teams that are in the middle of the table, we are not going to the Etihad in March.
No. I'm on holiday for that game and I'm glad because I said to my girl last night, I'm not watching it.
I was on holiday last one.
We're doing activities.
I was coming back from Saudi that day.
Yeah.
Man City. I didn't even watch it. I said I'm not watching.
Yeah, man. Just get off. Check the score on your phone. And you're good,
check
man.
The score, keep it moving. I watched the game when I landed back here in the UK. But honestly, I think no disrespect. Like I said, no disrespect to the other teams, the Lutons. Every team has something to fight for that we play. West Ham are fighting for European football next year. Luton are fighting to stay up. Wolves are fighting to bragging rights, finish above Manchester United.
Or even sneak into the Conference League. Why not?
Exactly. Fulham, they're fighting to be in the top half of the table. Yeah. Right now, they're in the bottom half. They're fighting to be in the and
Villa away, they're fighting to be in top 4.
Villa are fighting for top 4. Every team has incentive. And United are fighting for pride. We are fighting for our standards. We are fighting. They have to fight for the manager. A lot of stuff. They have a lot of stuff. So for me, it's like, if 5 games this month, this is a bigger month for me than December was. This is
I agree with you. This is the month now. And especially with the appointment of Omar and the director of football coming in, the microscope, Eric, is on your bar head. So, yeah. You know what I mean?
Up on your bar then. Exactly like Tyrone said. Big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button. Let me know in the chat, in the comments, your predictions of the game. I'll be back later on after the game for a post-match breakdown. Tyrone, let them know where they can find you.
Nice and quick and sharp. Now, thank you, Mina, for having me on as always. Make sure you like the video, people. Make sure you subscribe and show love. Trafford Tunnel down below for Man United content only down there. And then Never a Foul for top 6 content on our generic football channel. But yeah, thank you everyone in the comments. Show love and then we'll catch you soon.
Yeah, big up. You don't know what it is, man. As always, it's your girl, Mina. I'll be back later. Come on, United. Let's go. Peace.